1,600 subscriber Q&A. We've got over 70 questions. Best get on with it, haven't we? Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, another episode of your favourite and mine, I suppose, Question Mark. We are doing this one because we've got 1,600 subscribers yesterday. I posted a video on Monday, if you're watching this in a year's time. 2 days ago, I posted a vid asking for questions, over 70 of the damn things. So, I think it's time to get on with it, because these ones take ages. Usual rules will apply to this one. Either my battery will die on my camera, my battery will die on my laptop, or my broken body will just give out and I'll start hurting too much. So, let's see. Also, one little thing, full of a cold today, so, you know, I'm doing this for you, because I love doing Q&As. They're great. The Mick52 says, "Hi Mark, keep up the good vids. My question is, do you feel that it'll be harder for WWE to bring in legends or Hall of Famers now because of the low payout from pay-per-views, etc., due to the network?" I couldn't tell you what the pay scale is for the network. I've heard that they will get, because wrestlers' paychecks are based on pay-per-views, aren't they? So of course now that's not happening because pay-per-views don't happen. I think it all depends on who the legend is. I think if they're on the legend's contract, I think they'll be doing it. It all depends on how desperate they are, of course. You think of someone. I'm trying to think of a good example. The example I've got in my head is Tony Atlas. You know, when Tony Atlas was asked, "Look, do you want to be Mark Henry's manager?" I'm sure he went, "Fucking yes, I'd love to be on ECW every week for a year. That would be grand." So it depends who they are. It depends if they need the money. It depends if they're on a Legends contract. It depends on the heat with WWE. At the end of the day, I don't think it'll be. Stop it, window. God damn. I don't think it'll be difficult for them to bring in the Legends, is what I'll say to that one. Josh Bywater asked a question that I haven't had for a while because I don't get this one, because I asked not to say this one, and of course, because I didn't ask for it this time it goes in. So, "Hi Mark, which 5 wrestlers from TNA would you envisage or would you like to see join WWE?" I haven't watched TNA since Bound for Glory last year. I couldn't tell you who's on the roster at the moment. It's the honest to God truth. I have no idea. So, no, sorry. Sonic Jane Stooge says, "Hi Mark," with a K. "I've been a fan of yours since 2007, but you can't spell my name." Sorry, I'm kidding, but come on. That's a fair one, isn't it? If you've been a fan of mine for 7 years, but you spell my name with a K. Weird. Anyway, this is a great question. Just wanted to know if you still have those shoot videos you did on the likes of PS2 Pizza, Core Bars, WWE Copyright, etc. If so, any chance you could upload them again? Your shoots are not only very well structured, but hilarious and thoroughly entertaining. Thank you. I wish I did. Wish I had them. They were all on the old, not the old channel, the one before that, weren't they? So they're all good. I've still got the one on. I've got the ones on the Core Bars on the old channel. Can re-upload those if you want. I don't know if anyone else would like to see that. I've got the ones I did on Gilmore as well as the two of those were on last year, on the last channel. Sorry. But all the others went, I'm afraid. All of them. I liked I like you. I don't like doing shoots. We'll talk about shoots in a bit, but yeah, we'll talk about shoots. There's another question about shoots later on, so don't worry about that one. John Dean says, "Hi Mark, I'm a big fan of your work. Keep it up." Thank you, John. "You have spoken highly of PCW quite a bit more recently. What was it that they did that won you around to them?" Oh, BritRest question. I think this is the only BritRest question I've had as well, so I might talk about this one at length. As you may know, John, I was banned from PCW for writing a review about doing a review about them where I was very, very negative about them, and me and Flood had a big fallout and didn't speak to each other for a long, long time. And then we made up because we're adults, you know, and it's one of those, we're having a feud about nothing, and, you know, and basically, the first of that year, that me and Flood are made up in January of 2013. We was actually watched the Royal Rumble together in a bar in Manchester, Anyway, the point is, the first shows that I went to this year was the AJ Styles show. It was like, I have to go and see AJ Styles because I've up until then, I'd had a very strong anti-import policy, which is, I believe that the wrestlers we've got over here in Britain are just as good, if not better, as the imports that companies like PCW bring in. But then they announced AJ Styles, and it's one of those, I have to go to that show. I know it goes against every principle that I stick to, but, you know, I want to see Styles. And I had such a good time at that show. There was a lot of people there that I like to hang out with. And yeah, basically, it was a combination of a load of factors, but it all sort of came together nicely. Basically, when my friends Alex and Max had started to get bored of, especially Max, had started to get bored of the Future Shock shows that we were going to, the GPW shows we were going to. They wanted something different. And Alex is a big fan of the imports, so that helped. Little things like, there was when I used to go to PCW shows back in 2011, 2012, there was a lot of fans there who, it felt like they were trying to get themselves over instead of chanting something coherent or something that actually makes sense. Whereas nowadays, the fans they've got there they could be the same people, but they're not, maybe not as drunk. I don't know. But the fans don't seem to irritate me even half as much as they used to. And the other thing is, it's the realization that Fludder books things, but he books, whereas most wrestling promotions are, we're going to book this match and this match, or this guy against this guy, because, and there's a reason for it, Fludder just wants to put on the best matches. So he does Wrestler A versus Wrestler B because wrestling. And if you look, so I used to go into PCW and it used to bother me that there was no reason for this match happening. It was, this match is happening because it is, hooray! And and nowadays I can see why they do that, because it makes the best card. It's like it's like the titles have stories attached to them. Everything else is just like, this match is happening because it is, and it's like, so I learned to sort of disregard the fact that there wasn't many storylines, because at heart I'm a storyline based. Yeah, that's why I love Future Shock, because it's storylines. But at the same time, this year I've sort of taught myself that storylines aren't the be all and end all if you're into live wrestling. This match could be happening for no reason, and just go and enjoy the match. It's not the end of the world. It's not like you're reviewing it. But speaking of reviewing it, that's the last factor, is that Fludder has become a lot more relaxed about what people say about his product. So I can do a review, and I'm not going to, I've never been the type of guy who does a review like, this was shit, but I could say, look, I didn't enjoy this, and this is why. And that's what I've done for the last, I've done 3 or 4 PCW reviews I've done that you've watched this year, John, I assume. And that's basically it. I've missed shows. I'm not going to the Dudley Boys one, for example, because it's on the same night as Fight Club Pro, for example, and it was a toss-up which one do we go to, Fight Club Pro or PCW? And I let the guys choose, and they said we're going to go to Fight Club Pro. It's like, right, that's the one we're going to. So it's one of those. But I've got tickets for the Ring of Honor shows, so I can't wait for that one. Aaron Bywaters says, hey Mark, who do you think will induct Randy Orton into the WWE Hall of... so I can talk about Brit Rest for days, and it's like, WWE, yeah, fuck him. Who do you think will induct Randy Orton into the Hall of Fame? Now, I would think that, logically, that it would be his father. That would make perfect sense to Steve, but I don't know. It's the truth. I mean, you're looking... I want to say something like, Randy Orton should have got at least a good 5 years left of his career, but, he could end his career tomorrow, and like what they did with Edge, induct him into the next Hall of Fame, That'd be ridiculous, but I am sorry, full of a cold, like I say. Yeah, my choice would be his father. I think that'd be a nice little touch, a Hall of Famer inducting his son into the Hall of Fame. That'd be great. Like the way, like the way The Rock did his dad. Well, surely the best way to do it when The Rock goes into the Hall of Fame is dad. That's what I think anyway. Thomas Shelvin says, I think we can all agree that in its final days, WCW was a disaster due to mismanagement and incompetence, and it seems as though TNA is going the same way. But what I would like to know, and there's a read more, there we go. In your opinion, has a company like Ring of Honor succeeded where the others have failed, insofar as most of the top talent at some point end up moving into better things, Punk, Daniel, Steen, Styles, Joe, etc. I mean, you've got a great point. The TNA hasn't really created... Sorry, this is going to be so irritating to watch back, isn't it? They haven't created many of their home... Hang on a sec, I need to slow down. Sorry, Carol's having a cold. Sorry about that, guys. My nose was starting to run really badly. So, Ring of Honor... has it succeeded where the others have failed, insofar as most of their top talent at some point end up moving on to better things, so Punk, Daniel, Steen, Styles, Joe, because Joe moving to TNA was great, wasn't it? Ring of Honor is like, it's almost like it's a training ground for the bigger things, isn't it? They're never going to, if you're a Ring of Honor world champion, for example, you're never going to get more. It's at the end of the day, it's not as prestigious as it could be. Does that make sense? The fact that they're still going, it says a lot. I think the fact that they're still making money, which I assume is the case, is says a lot. But I don't really know what you're trying to say is that most of their top talent at some point ends up moving on to bigger things, and you are right about that. But you also got people who've been there, like the Briscoes, for years, who wouldn't surely never go to WWE because they wouldn't want them, or wouldn't go to TNA, or can't go to TNA because they just lit up at them and go, but no, not our thing. So yeah, in some respects you are right. Ring of Honor have succeeded, but I mean, at the end of the day, they've been going as long as TNA, and the fact they still exist. The fact that they're not on network TV though, or haven't got a bigger viewership. I mean, we've got to remember. I'm sure a lot of you know that I watched when I first got onto YouTube. I was a massive Ring of Honor fan. Jesus Christ, I watched so much of it for about a year, and then I completely gave up on it because it just didn't interest me anymore. It's interesting that I'm going to 4 Ring of Honor shows this year, the PCW ones. Yet I have no idea about him. I couldn't tell you what's happening in Ring of Honor today. I couldn't tell you what. I know that Jay Briscoe won the championship because I got told it by a message popped up on Facebook. Shame about Elgin, isn't it? It's like, what is? He lost the title to Jay Briscoe. Did he? I'm going to those shows because of the people that I want. I've never seen Kyle O'Reilly, for example, and I've always wanted to see the Briscoe brothers, and I've always wanted to see Delirious. Those guys are on the show. I'm going to the show, but I thought to myself I should sit down and watch some Ring of Honor. I watched War of the Worlds because I'd heard so much good stuff about it, and it was an all-right show. It was nothing special. It was like going, this is a very overhyped show. It's a classic one. It's that I used to be like that. I used to be, Ring of Honor can do no wrong. They're the greatest things ever. And I've still got a few of my DVDs I watch from time to time going, God, that is a good show. But I don't know where I'm going with that one. I'm sorry. Hi Mouth says, hi Mark with a K. Love your vids. Been watching for 3 years now, but spell my name with a K. Explain. I'm joking. No, seriously. I'm half joking. My question: what's your favourite Scottish wrestlers? Well, favourite Scottish wrestlers. I haven't seen that many, is what I'll say. Right, I've seen Grado the once. Thought he was fucking hilarious. Nikki Storm always entertains me. She's so intense. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a bad Lionheart match. Let me think. Let me think. I saw the Coffees for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Was very impressed with their work. But of course, as I'm sure you know what I'm going to say here. Good grief. A couple of weeks ago, on the same show that I saw the Coffees, I saw a guy, you might have heard of his name is Joe Hendry! And Jesus, wet was I impressed with that guy. That guy came out to his entrance music that I'm sure you have heard. Joe Hendry makes things better. There's still so much to do. I won't start singing the whole thing, because I could, and I won't. But yeah, he came out, sang his own entrance theme. He started shouting, you know that I like Dave Rain, as a guy who shouts his name, his catchphrase, Dave Rain! Joe Hendry comes out, sings, Joe Hendry! Like, yes! That I like. And then he had a match with Sexy Kev, a guy called Sexy Kev, that I absolutely loved. And it was like, Sexy Kev didn't do anything for me in that match. It's all on Hendry. It's like watching this guy go, this guy gets it. This guy is fantastic. And then I've watched so many of his matches recently going, look, I want this. I'm going to ICW in October, right, in Liverpool. And it's like, I'm going because I want to see Joe Hendry again. How does that sound? That for me is an indication of how much that guy impressed me in that one match. How does that sound? Inga Mogam says, hi Mark with a K. Well done on getting 16,000 subscribers. My question to you is, who do you believe will be the next UK-based wrestler to hit the big time? Keep up the good work. Thank you. Right, British Boot Camp is on again this year, and the 6 or 7 guys they've got on it, all of them I reckon could be. There's a guy called Marc Andrews who is a particular favourite of mine because he does a reverse Rana, who is brilliant. Bit too small maybe, but a spud proof that makes no difference. And Dave Mastiff's on that, and he's amazing. But Grado's on there as well, and he really is. Sorry, I've just got to wipe my nose. Sorry about this, folks. I'm do apologise. The only other option is sticking some cotton ball up the nose, and I'm not going to do that because I'll look ridiculous. or more ridiculous than I already do. Yeah, I reckon Grado not only will win the competition, but if they keep his character as it is, he will go over to TNA and he will be fucking huge. But at the same time, it bothered me when I first saw or heard, because I didn't watch TNA, when I first saw that they'd taken the Rockstar element out of Rockstar Sport, because the Rockstar character was one of my favourites. I thought it was so clever. And then when, so I hear he's doing great on TNA, on Impact. I hear that he is like one of the highlights of the show. It's still not enough to make me watch. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, because Grado's so charismatic, I think that they could give him a completely different character, and I think he'd be able to make it work, is what I'll say. So my vote on that one is going to be Grado. Hi, Mark, with a C, says St. Jimmy. I've been watching a few old school ECW pay-per-views lately. I was just wondering, where on the scale of 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, where would you rate Joey Styles as a commentator? Keep up the good work. I've always enjoyed watching your vids, going as far back as the shooting from the horse's mouth days. Thank you, Jimmy! Joey Styles is a 5, maybe a 6 if you're lucky. He's the type of guy who I really feel that if you watch the shows where he does on his own, some of them are right, some of them are shit. And sometimes I don't like commentators on their own. As someone who's worked as a commentator on his own and has seen how difficult it is, you need someone to bounce off. And if you're the play-by-play guy, you need that colour. You need that guy who disagrees with what you say, in my opinion. I was going to say about you, there was a lot of pay-per-views where you see, like Heatwave 98 had Shane Douglas on it, for example. I think the commentary there is better. Just because Shane Douglas is an idiot, obviously, but it's just that there's someone else to break it up. It's the same thing. Like, you watch a 3-hour pay-per-view, it's the same voice for 3 hours. Gets a bit monotonous, doesn't it? I'd say about a 5 or a 6. He's all right, but at the same time, I mean, watching him call anything of the WWE ECW, it just felt so forced, He was all right. He was an okay commentator, not the best though. Next, Who12396 says, what would wrestling be like now if Vince Russo had never become a booker? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's one of those, well, the thing is, you've got to imagine that Russo got all his power in like 98, late 98, 99, didn't he? So the attitude era, come on, Mark, the attitude era was in full swing already, you think, when... And then the thing is, they proved, the WWF, for example, proved after Vince Russo had gone that they could continue and they could do everything that they'd been doing with Russo, but better. So, for example, 2000 being their most profitable year by a country mile, and you're just going, yeah, all right, so that's good. I think maybe WCW might still be here. There's every chance that it could have been. The WWF, I think, would have been... I think it actually, Joe, I'm going to be honest with you. How's this sound? I think it would have made quite a bit more sense. Because a lot of Russo's stories just don't make sense. On my latest review, on the breakdown one, I said, didn't I, that you've got Val Venus versus Dustin Runnels. If you haven't watched that vid, please go and do so. It's only had 600 views, for fuck's sake. 1,600 subscribers. There's 1,000 of you haven't bothered watching the vid. Don't make me come over there. I'll sit on your sofa and talk to you, and you'll be angry. And that's just made me completely lose my place, haven't I? You had a heel and a babyface, obviously, but you sat there with a storyline going, I don't know who I'm meant to cheer for here. And of course, 9 times out of 10, when the fans are presented with that choice, who do I cheer for? If you don't know it, like you got a face, an example being a face versus face match. There we go. Face versus face, fans have got to choose. Who do I pick? Well, I'm going to go for neither. How's that sound? So it's, things like that, that Russo did that you just start going, I don't know what's happening here. So maybe wrestling would have made a bit more sense. How's that sound? Maybe TNA would have been better. I don't know I don't know about that one, but yeah. LP Scott says, if there is one wrestling show besides WrestleMania 17, cunt, that you could have went back in time and attended, which one would it be? Oh dear me. Can I say Future Shock 1, just so I can say I was there, back in 2004? WrestleMania 1, so you can say I was there, or WrestleMania 3 in the front row. How's that sound? So you can actually see that body slam. Yeah, that pivotal moment in wrestling history. I'd want a show that was either massive or a show that was shocking. So, Bash at the Beach '96 when Hogan turned. Can you imagine what it must have been like in that crowd to be throwing to see the heel turn and then throwing the garbage into the ring? Something like, I couldn't tell you one off the top of my head. But that's the type of thing that I would like to see. How's that sound? Ellie Shams K. Kenner says, I hope that's right. Which 4 wrestlers, dead or alive, past or present, would you put in an ultimate fatal 4-way match and why? Well, I've said before that one of my dream matches, like a lot of people who were wrestling fans in the Attitude Era, Austin, Triple H, Rock. It never happened. I'd like to see it happen. So, I mean, something like that with someone like Foley as a guest ref, I'd like to see. I can't think of a 4th person that I'd like to be in that match, from around that time. Because I think of someone like Undertaker, and I just think no. So of those two, I'm not really sure. Let's do Sammartino, Hogan, Stone Cold, and Cena. Those 4. The biggest stars of their respective eras. Bam, 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 bam. Go fight it out. Who's the best? How's that sound? One Piece Fan 20 is back. Even though it doesn't say where he'd been. How highly do you rate Dynamite Kid as a wrestler? For me, I think he's the best wrestler this country has ever produced. What do you think? I think that is a fair comment, don't you? The best he's ever produced. Wow, that is a huge, huge question. Dynamite Kid was an innovator, was an amazing, amazing wrestler. If you've never seen his series with the original Tiger Mask, it's required viewing for wrestling fans. It's absolutely freaking, breath of fresh air. Doing stuff that's just not been seen in the WWF or in wrestling at that time. I think it's sad that what happened to him. I think the way that he's become so bitter about the business is really sad. And won't have anything to do with it and all that. But yeah, the best wrestler this country's ever produced. I mean, I think he's definitely got a shout. Because if you think of people that have gone on to be successful, in terms of draw, the Bulldog were much bigger, obviously, and bigger in every respect, wasn't he? Best wrestler. I'm trying to have a think here. Really, just top of my head, best. Yeah. It depends, because I think my brain's just gone, well, what about Mick McManus, who you love? I'm like, oh yeah, because he really was wonderful, wasn't he? And Catweasel was amazing. And Regal was amazing. Oh, man. Best, I might have to get back to you on that one, I'm afraid. Best that they've ever created. Best we've ever created. Christopher Windsor says, Shane McMahon has been used for lots of different things, one way or the other in WWF/E. What is your favourite usage of him and why? Thanks for all the great videos and congrats on 1,600 subscribers. Thank you very much, Shane. Shane. Well, if you, once again, you may have seen my latest vid, my breakdown review. He was on commentary on the Raw before that. The Saints, that was terrible. I liked him in the corporate nation and things like that. He was alright at what he did. I don't like him as a wrestler because for all the big bumps that he took, he has no concept of selling whatsoever, and that ruined it for me. Shane was good on the stick, alright? And so like I say, corporation era sort of thing. When he was someone's manager, I didn't like him getting in the ring, but when he was doing his stuff on the stick, I liked it. GQ, man. This one's hard. The Q&A. The subscriber's favourite and Marc's least favourite time of the year. This question, I promise you, GQ, man, I will get wrong. Not only will I get wrong, but if you look in the comments down below, there are people answering it right now for me, okay? So here we go. One tag teams break up. It seems like one guy becomes a big star, the other one usually don't. Or doesn't, sorry. The Michael's Jannetty problem. Do you know why that is? Or can you think of any teams there they're both ascending? And it's like, I read this when you posted this one, 19 hours ago from when I'm filming this, yeah? And as soon as I saw it, it's like, that one's going to come back to me. I know it is, because I don't like reading the questions beforehand, but some of them I like to make a little note of, going, And I've had to think, and of course my usual stupid brain has got nothing. All right, when I'm editing this, I'll go, oh yeah, what about? Yeah, but right now, none. I cannot think of one tag team where both guys have come out of the breakup bigger stars. The answer is I just don't know. Is the thing. It seems like if you think of all your favourite tag teams, there's always one who is better than the other. So if you think of someone like the Dudley Boys, it's clear, especially nowadays, that Bubba Ray is much better wrestler than Devon ever was. The Hardy Boys, Jeff's better, obviously. Edge and Christian. Edge was the better wrestler. Or was the chosen one. Christian lagged behind quite a few years, and it's really strange, isn't it? The answer is I just don't know. I don't know why that is, because The best tag team surely will be that they have matching gear and they have double team moves, and that lasts a couple of years, because I really don't like it when WWE do this a lot, where they tag someone up and then they break up the tag team like 2 months later and you just go, right, I had no reason to give a fuck about these. But yeah, surely the best tag team breakups are ones where it elevates both people, and that just doesn't seem to. I can't think of any. Why is that? God, I can't think of any at all. I'm so sorry, GQ man. I'm such a failure on this one. I feel terrible because I can't. I'm just, this is why I don't do Q&As, because if I thought about it, I would have done a bit of research, or if it was a normal Reddit video, yeah. Let's have a Google who tag teams have been successful. No, can't think of it. Barry Ahern says, "Hi Mark, I hope this is a good question. This is an interesting one actually. Who decides the quality of matches? Is it the wrestlers or the backstage management? For example, a wrestler is told to put on a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star match, or is it up to the wrestler's leisure to make a match as good or as bad as they'd like?" Now, obviously, I'm no booker. So what I did, I went to one of the bookers that I do know, a man named Dave Rain, and basically said to him, I gave him your question and said, look, I don't know what the best answer is to this, so, can I post you the question? He's like, yeah, sure. So this is what he said. Neither wrestlers nor bookers use star ratings for their matches. No one decides to have a bad match. You work your spot on the card, you tell the story you're told to tell. Are you on first or right before the main event, or the main event itself? Is the match an all-out, all cards on the table affair, or is it a first in a series of matches? Is it there to get someone over for a feud with someone else, or is it there to get people's adrenaline up before something else? Or is it to leave a desire to see something fast-paced in the next match? There's many factors, and everything is entirely subject. One fan's 5-star classic is another fan's overblown spark fast, or drawn out technical contest, or whatever it is. Whatever is the preference. So what I replied was, so is it a case of like, if your match is the first of a series, for example, sorry, my nose, I'm sorry. Do you go out and put on a decent match, but at the same time you don't give it everything in that match? Because what that does is people go, oh man, that was a great match, but sometimes I feel this. I went to a Shropshire Wrestling Association SWA show recently. I saw in the opening contest, it was Damien Dunn versus Marc Andrews. All right, and it was the type of match that if I was going to review it, I'd give it about a 3-star. And it was one of those matches like, yeah, that was good. It could have been better. Now, the whole point that it could have been better is what these two guys are capable of. You know what sort of moves they do. If they don't do those moves, it leaves you thinking, oh, next time they face each other, you can go, look, their last match was fantastic, but if it felt like there was a bit, there was a bit more to give. Does that make sense? And Dave replied to that with, exactly. If you do everything in the first one, what's the point? There should always be questions. What if they miss the super kick, for example? What if he'd hit the super kick? And so on and so on. There we go. That's from Mr. Dave Rain, who knows everything about wrestling. He's my go-to guy if I've got a question like that. Dude, I don't know. What's the thing? So yeah. First things first, like Dave says, no one surely goes out with the intention of having a bad match. No one goes out, right, we're going to have what Mark P will give a 3-star match. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? It all depends on where you are. If you're in the opening contest, you want to warm the fans up, you want to get them in a good mood, you want to, but you don't want to be the best match on the show, because if you're the best match on the show, everything else for the next 2 hours is not going to be as good. Does that make sense? If you're in the main event, though, you want to put on the best match that you can put on, unless it's for what the reason we just talked about, that there's going to be a rematch down the line. It's like it's there's so many factors to it. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's like you said about the high spot. It's the 5-star thing. It's like he says. What I may consider a 5-star match, you may consider a 1-star match, and absolutely vice versa, and that this whole community is based on that, as all having different opinions, doesn't it? It's not, I was going to say it's that simple. It's simple isn't a really a fair term, is it? It's just like that. Like I say, that's the best way. I really hope that answers your question. Next, Raven says, Raven361 says, yo Mark, with a C. Been a fan of yours since mid-08 from your bathroom days of shooting from the horse's mouth. Anyway, Question: do you think the draft was a mistake from the start, like letting people just go anywhere from July to September 2002, and then WWE just forgetting it at times until the end of the draft in mid-2012? And which draft to watch? And which draft to watch on Raw was your fave? Oh, the actual draft. Mine 2010 or 2011. Been a loyal fan for 6 years. Don't stop. Keep up the good work. You rock, my man. Cheers, mate. And a big smiley face. Happy days. I don't think the draft was a mistake at all. I thought the idea was an interesting one because it created competition. And if you had two distinct, separate brands, which you did in, for example, 2002, 2003, they were completely different. Raw was the storyline one. SmackDown was the wrestling one, and it was that simple. It really was that simple. There was a nice, easy divide. It wasn't just, when you're watching SmackDown, it wasn't like, hey, here's some shit that happened on Raw, and this show is like, you can't tell the difference between the two, because the stars are, when they forgot about the draft, or when they started being able to mix up the competition, it's like, right, get rid of the draft now. This doesn't, or the brand extension, sorry, this doesn't make any sense. A favourite draft, I haven't got one. I really haven't, because, most of the time, it was so disappointing. Like, oh yeah, what to do? So like the 2005 one when Cena went over, that was a big moment. But I mean, let's put it this way, right? The best thing I can say is that none of them spring to mind as, oh my god, this was incredible. If you've got, like you say, if you've got ones that are your favourites, that's all good. But I can't tell you. I don't think the draft was a mistake, though. I thought it created competition. Because you've got to remember, it was meant to be the WWF versus WCW. WCW was meant to be a spin-off on its own. That was the original plan. Cheers, Buff. JHS Torre says, what was your favourite SmackDown or Raw intro song, for example? Rise Up or The Beautiful People, etc. Right, my favourite one, right, I wanted to, you remember the one the Union Underground did, right? I loved, in big capitals, the Union Underground's first album. So when it was announced the Union Underground were doing, the Raw theme, it was like, yeah boy, I like that one. But recently, because I watched the Raws from 1998 in between doing the pay-per-view reviews, that fucking theme tune is fucking brilliant, and it always gives me goosebumps. When they've done the intro vid and they show the fireworks and they go that sounds like Stone Cold's music, doesn't it? But you know which one I mean. And that is fucking brilliant. SmackDown, no idea, really don't know. I couldn't tell you on that one, I'm afraid. Phenom L37 says, hi Mark, with a C, liking the Road Dogg Attitude Era style haircut. It wasn't meant to be like that, but you're not the first person to mention that. So, yeah, cheers, I think. If you're wondering about the hair, I've had my dreadlocks for 12 years now. It'll be 13 years in February that I've started growing my hair. And it was the realisation earlier on this year. It's like, I haven't had a haircut for fucking years, but more importantly, I've started going very, very grey and down here. And it's like, right, there's one way we can do something about this. Also, when I do my DDP yoga, I get very, very hot because I'm working out. And to have really thick hair here meant that it was always sweaty, and it was fucking disgusting. It was one of those things that I just looked at myself in the mirror like, right, we do something about this. So very, very gradually, it was cut, and it was cut, and it was cut, and it's like, people didn't notice at first, and then when we shaved the sides, like, Jesus! And it's like, cool, we got a right reaction. Then we've taken another inch or so off each side, and it's like, now I don't know what to do with it, because I've got enough hair here to have a mohawk, and it's like, so weird, to have the dreadlock mohawk. Anyway. My one question is, how would you book Brock Lesnar as champion going into WrestleMania 31? That's assuming that he will be champion at WrestleMania 31. Because I tell you something, I wouldn't put them putting the belt back on Cena at Night of Champions. If I do a predictions vid for Night of Champions, which I don't think I will, but if I did, my prediction would be Cena, because it would be one of those lol Cena wins, because that's what he does. I've been told that they're going to do Lesnar versus Big Slow after Cena, and that makes sense. I would then do a Survivor Series TLC and probably Rumble feud with, I read Scott Keith say give Randy Orton a shot because Brock's never faced him. So turn Orton face and have, at the end of the day, someone like, so Scott Keith said Randy Orton or Sheamus. Either one of those two, get it done. Because it's someone who could probably put on a decent match with Brock, and it's someone who's expendable. And what I mean by that, Sheamus is doing nothing. He's treading water. He's the US champion, isn't he? He's doing nothing. So give Sheamus a couple of big wins over the next couple of weeks, or just to make it seem like he's a credible guy to go into it with. Have him a 2 or 3 pay-per-view feud. Pay-per-view special attraction feud over the belt is what I would like. That's the way I'd do it. Having him go over show makes sense because it's a lot, because it's all about perception, isn't it? So Brock may have battered Show earlier on in the year, but again, it's one of those things that just it makes people go, oh, look how fucking no. If he can batter Cena twice, and if he can batter Show twice, I mean, if he beats Show, right, the way that he beat Cena at SummerSlam, apparently, because I did watch that one, didn't I? It makes him look like he's an absolute monster. Who can stop this guy? Well, there's that guy over there who's doing Superman punches. Who will be stopping him at WrestleMania if they've got any fucking sense? That's the way I'd do it, personally. Hi, Mark, says the Nage one. I think that's right. Hi, Mark. Been watching since 2008. Apparently, some of the content, mainly ECW, has been censored and/or dubbed over with new audio. Would this put you off spending the $9.99 or whatever the fee will be in pounds every month? I assume you're talking about the network, because you don't say so. Things like all of New Jack's content apparently has been overdubbed, or it's been new music, and there's certain things that have been censored. The fact of the matter is that you're surprised that not more of it's censored, aren't you? I suppose it's one of those things. They shouldn't be fiddling with it. Like, make it so it goes out as is. All right. Put disclaimers on that if you at the start. So if it's got Benoit on it, for example, if it's got New Jack on it, or anything like that, put disclaimers. The thing is, I honestly, right, here's the crazy thing for me, right? You guys know, and there's a couple of questions coming up about this. I'm not watching WWE at the moment. I've so completely lost interest in it, but I can't wait to get the network. It will make my life so much easier. I've never made it a secret that every year, at the start of the year, I download a torrent pack of the year that I'll be reviewing. So, for example, at the moment on my laptop, I've got a 2004 pack that I spend the rest of the year seeding to bollocks. And the thing I'm never going to have to worry about that. As soon as the network comes along, I'm going to get rid of my Netflix account that I never use. And I'm going to get the network. I'm looking forward to getting the network. There's going to be a lot of shows that I've never seen. It's watching things like, I'm going to watch Nitro in order from the very start. I'm going to watch Raw from the very start, knowing that I can go through them all. Don't have to worry about torrenting. I'm hoping, my friend Joey is probably jizzing himself in excitement at the moment because he knows that I'll be doing an 89 series at some point very soon. The first thing I'm going to watch, I've told him, Great American Bash 1989. I'm going to watch and review that show for Joey. And I know he can't wait for that. And it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to be able to watch it in its entirety. It's going to be great. Nothing was going to put me off. I promise you, I'm very much looking forward to getting the network. Jigsaw Kid 95 says, who do you think has the best psychology in WWE right now? Got to be Andros for me. Don't watch it. No idea. Think about it. I haven't seen a review of mine for WWE since Money in the Bank, so I couldn't tell you who it is. So that's, 3 pay-per-views I've missed? No, 2. I missed Breakdown in July and SummerSlam. And I haven't watched any of the WWE shows in that time. And I don't very rarely even. It's got to the point where I stopped checking the results. By the way, what I've always done, if I haven't watched Raw the night before, is if I wasn't reviewing it, of course, is that I get up and the first thing I would do is check the Raw results. I'd find out if it's a good show, if it's a decent show, should I watch it? Nowadays, I don't even bother doing that. I couldn't tell you what. Today's Tuesday. I couldn't tell you what happened on Raw last night. I know that Jerry Springer was on it, and that's about it. I could not tell you, as I'm so indifferent to it. Yes, I couldn't tell you how the best psychology is. It's Coal Miner's Glove. We were just talking about Joey. Hi, Mark. It's the old Coal Miner's Glove here saying congratulations on 1,600 subscribers. I know we're all very excited to see my content. To see what content you can come up with for the... Start again. I know we are all very excited to see what content you can come up with when you pay just $9.99 for the network. Here's my question. We won't be paying $9.99. I guarantee that. We'll be paying cheaper than that because we're not paying in dollars. Do you feel like Shane McMahon would be a great follow to authority? Thank you for the answering from the Mini Guinea, aka Joe. Yeah, I do actually. I think he'd be perfect. I really do. We were talking before about Shane on the mic. It's exactly what we were talking about earlier on. I promise you, that's one of the questions I must have not seen, Jerry. Yeah, Shane's good on the stick. As long as he doesn't get involved physically. But yeah, some fuckers got to stand up to the authority, haven't they? So yeah, why not, Shane? Why not? Because he's not in the business anymore. Oh, wait. George Murray says, do you think wrestling popularity is cyclical? Do you think once again we will see WWE return to its Attitude Era heights in terms of mainstream popularity? Or is that a flash in the pan success story that is unlikely to be repeated? Now, in my lifetime, there's been 2 boom periods in wrestling, hasn't there? In the WWF/E, there's been in the 80s, the Rock and Wrestling, and then the Attitude Era. There's no reason for it not to. What it needs, I've said this before, what wrestling needs is a character or a wrestler out there who can relate to people. So, Hulk Hogan, he becomes such a big thing that it crosses over, and that what I was going to say then is every fucker in the world knows who Hulk Hogan is. Even if you have no idea about any other wrestler in the world, you know the name Hulk Hogan. A lot of people, not as many I don't think, but a lot of people know about Stone Cold. Okay, and we could relate to these characters in some respects. As a kid, say your prayers to your vitamins and all that. And Hulk was a character who's like a fucking cartoon character. So when you're a kid in the 80s, Hulk Hogan was the fucking greatest thing ever. When you're older and you're an 18 to 34 demographic and you want to give the middle finger to your boss because your boss is treating you like shit, you live vicariously through Stone Cold. I've said this so many times before. I don't give 2 shits about John Cena because I can't relate to him because I don't know what his gimmick is. His gimmick is that he never gives up. Hustle, loyalty, respect mean nothing to me. If you went to a guy on the high street down here, who's John Cena? How many people? I can see 5 people there. How many of those 5 people do I reckon know who John Cena is? 2, if you're lucky, because one's seen him in the Marine. Why? I really think it needs 1 or 2 big stars. The Attitude Era had 2, had Rock and Stone Cold, and then a whole myriad of support cast. In the 80s, you had Macho Man Randy Savage, and you had Hogan. You had a whole plethora of fucking characters that you knew about. To answer your question, I think there's no reason why wrestling won't become big again. It'll never be as big as it was in the Attitude Era, and that's because of the Monday Night Wars, because you had 2 companies who shared a huge market, regularly doing into the 8s and the 9s between the 2 combined thing. Never as big as Monday Night Football, but it's an interesting one. Talking shit 1-1. So, sorry, to answer your question, yes, I think it will. I do think wrestling is cyclical. It's just that the cycle between the Attitude Era, where it died in 2001, and now is a fucking long time. And it's one of those, look, if it's not going to be anytime soon, is it? Realistically, I just the other things to say about that is who can say? Talking shit 1-1. What are your favourite Raw and SmackDown sets? SmackDown, definitely the first one with the ovals. That was gorgeous. That was absolutely gorgeous. Raw one. When they brought the Raw set in for when Ric Flair was general manager, he rebooted the set. That was gorgeous as well. JGHV1 says, hey Mark, apologies for this question not being wrestling related, but can you do more vids with your rabbits? Because they're as cute as fuck. Oh, my lovely rabbits. Got 4 rabbits for anyone who don't know. Thumper, Lily, Lucy and Maisie. I could do. They actually get surprisingly large amounts of views. The last one got 200 views. I'm sort of going, that's incredible. Little story about the rabbits. Lily attacked Lucy yesterday because they're not bonded yet. So they live in separate pens, and I just happened to let them out of my sight for a moment. And Lily took a giant gash out of Lucy's face down here. And I had £100 saved up for various wrestling shows over the next couple of months, and I had to spend it all on getting Lucy fixed up. And she's got 3 staples in her face as I'm speaking now. Yeah, so she's not a happy girl. She's got a collar on as well. Not a happy lady about that at all. Wait a second. Everyone. Here's my poorly little girl, look. No, aren't you beautiful? Well, aren't you? You're a beautiful girl. So yeah, she's not a happy girl. Like I say, 3 staples in her face, £100. So yeah, if people want to see more of them, I'll happily do them, but that face. It's an interesting one because there's a video I saw a couple of weeks ago of a white rabbit, eating a raspberry. 1 million views. And you just go, my rabbits eat all the time. Shall I film them? And it's like, yeah, put it on 200 views. And you go, oh, it's 200 views. That's quite impressive. I was expecting 5 people to watch it. But at the same time, why don't more people watch my goddamn rabbit vids?
My Mr. Wrestling says, would you like to see Booker T back in commentary? Absolutely not. Jack Pennell says, do you think what people consider makes a good wrestler has changed from what it was previously seen as? For example, Hulk Hogan is considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time as he had the great look, great character, was marketable, and put asses in seats. Must be an English guy, because you would have said asses if you're American like that. Whilst he was not necessarily revered for what he did in the ring. These days, the general wrestling fan population, in my opinion, value how many flashy moves a wrestler can pull off more than the aforementioned attributes, and is one of the reasons people shit on the likes of Cena and Hogan. People don't seem to remember that most 80s wrestlers had a really limited moveset. It wasn't until the 90s when the moves did diversify. An acquaintance recently said to me that Marc Mero was a great wrestler. When I know he just said that because he can pull off a shooting star press. Sorry for the paragraph. Thanks for the great work. Keep it up. I think the Attitude Era is one of the things to blame for that. Is that that wrestlers did ridiculous amounts of spots and ridiculous moves that you just couldn't follow up after them. Wrestling is all about making money, isn't it? That's the fact. It's all about making money. Whoever puts the asses in the seat. So the thing is, right? I mean, I sometimes get young wrestlers will come to me for my opinion at the end of a show, and I always say, especially if they're high flyers, it's always a stop doing the fucking high flying moves because your career is not going to last. All right. You may do there's a guy called L.A. Austin. I've told this story before. He used to do a corkscrew moonsault every single match without fail. Corkscrew moonsaults, normally to the outside, an amazing spot. I was probably the first person, or at least I hope I was, who went to him and said, you have got to stop doing that move. And he was like, oh, come on, it's one of my favourite moves, and always gets a pop. I was like, yeah, it does. But how much of a bigger pop do you reckon it'd get if you brought it out once a month instead of once a night? Or you did it for a reason. Make that corkscrew moonsault your one big thing. Make it your finishing move, because that's the thing, it wasn't his finishing move. He used a springboard cutter called the Ostentatious. Brilliant name. Like the Lethal Injection, if you're wondering. What makes a good wrestler is a guy who makes money. For me, it's that simple. It's obviously we can talk about who is a good worker until the cows come home, but a good wrestler puts asses in seats, like you say. Hogan will never be the guys who are the top guys as a rule are not the greatest workers. Someone like Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels may be the exception to the rule. Stone Cold, after his accident, was not a great wrestler in my opinion, but he could talk and he could put on decent matches, not great matches. But it's the same with Hogan, it's the same as Cena now. The best ones, see, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of Daniel Bryan, and I'm thinking that guy is a great wrestler, and look, this is the thing, look at the price he's paying now for being a great wrestler for all those years. Does that make sense? I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm sorry. Mero is not a great worker. Sorry about that. Battery died, or camera stopped, or something. 49 minutes in, hooray. We were talking about what makes a great worker has changed. So you were talking about Hogan and about how limited moveset. It's one of the things. What I was saying before the camera dies, I don't actually know where we're going with this one. But one of the things I will say is it bothers me that flashy moves have seemed to have taken preference over storytelling. That is another aspect of the Attitude Era, in my opinion. If a match goes technical now, a lot of the time the fans just go utterly silent and are just not interested. Whereas someone like me is starting going, yes, this is brilliant. It's a really tricky one. Liam Monaghan says, do you think that WWE look back at the way they treated CM Punk with regret, or did Punk leave at the right time? Well, as we speak today, we've Punk's put a lawsuit in against unpaid royalties or something like that. So WWE, being the petty cunts that they are, have reduced the CM Punk DVD to $3. It was something like $30. And it's one of those, right, you want your royalties, do you? Well, there you go. There's your royalties, cunt. Punk was wanted to get out for a long time. I think he was tempted back to stay after the pipe bomb shit. But after that, I mean, I didn't watch much wrestling in 2011 after that. I mean, the whole Punk Triple H feud, never saw it as far as I know. And Punk and was it Nash involved in that as well? Never saw any of it. Anyway, the point is that I just think he was convinced to stay after that. I think he couldn't wait to get out. And I think the people who still chant CM Punk to this day are fucking idiots. And I can't believe it took me so long to For so long I believed it was a work. So long. And there's still that little tiny part of me that still believes it was a work. But no, I think he got out at just the right time, in my opinion. Hi Mark, I asked you this once. Oh no, I missed one, sorry. Shan45334. Hi Mark, big fan of your vids. My question is, if you were Vince McMahon, would you be doing all you can to bring Kurt Angle back once his deal with TNA is up? Or do you think his time has passed? You've become one of the best on YouTube, and I hope you continue, but if it does ever cross your mind, I hope you continue, but does it ever cross your mind to call it a day? So 2 questions there. 2 questions. No, I'm alright with that. Kurt Angle, not in the slightest. But let's put it this way, right? It goes like this. If Vince wanted Kurt Angle back, he would have had Kurt Angle back a long time ago. And every time Kurt Angle's contract has come up with TNA, WWE have done nothing at all to even try and get Kurt Angle back. Now, if it was me, I would get Kurt Angle back. He would work a very, very limited date. He'll be offered a Legends contract, put him in the Hall of Fame, couple of matches here and there. I would love to see Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan, for example, if Daniel Bryan comes back. But there's very few matches I can think of on the top of my head on the card at the moment that I'd like to even see Angle in. So, I mean, there's the obvious Jack Swagger feud. But yeah, other than that and Bryan, it's like, no, I'm not really interested. If they wanted him back, they would have had him back a long time ago. Angle is damaged goods. His body is in bits. He's got a history of drug and alcohol abuse. They wouldn't want him. I guarantee you that. Do I ever consider calling it a day? All the time is the truth. I'm sorry in advance for this one. This is going to be a bit of a rant or a bit of a moan. Simple as this. My views have been in decline all year. And it's getting to the point now where I'm starting to get worried about it, because the 10 years ago series is the one that consistently pulls. My target for every vid that I make is 1,000 views. All right, I've got 1,600 subscribers now, so that I think that's a fair amount. That means that 2/3 of my subscribers are still watching. The 10 years ago vids are just about pulling in 1,000 a month, right? And that's good. The 98 series is really struggling. I mean that really struggling. 600 views is the average for the series, and that's across the whole thing. Especially, weirdly, the WCW reviews. No one's interested. When I did my 10 years ago series in 2000, it was the WCW reviews that got the bigger draws. I'm sure of that. People love to hear me ranting about WCW. Nowadays, like this last one that I did I think it's got 800 views. And that, it worries me. It's really worrying that I feel in my heart that I've got to start watching Raw again just to get my view count back up. I mean, just for argument's sake, right? Let me tell you something. I'm a very sad person, all right, and I keep statistics of how many views I get. There is a reason for this, but I'm not going to go into. But yeah, I've got every month's earning view count on this channel. So let me tell you something, Willis. In May, this channel had 14,800 views, okay? In July, it had 9,000. That is a truly massive drop. Now, a lot of that, I'm sure, is because I stopped watching Raw, and I didn't do the pay-per-view review, but that's still a huge amount. It is still a massive, massive amount. My missus is disabled. I'm sure anyone who's got me on Facebook knows that. So I find it hard to find the time, because I'm a carer. That's my job. I work for her. I do everything for her. So I find it very hard. Finding a time to do a vid like this, for example, is very tricky. It's very, very hard. So it's like I've got to get motivated to want to review a show, and then it's finding the time to watch it. And normally it's like, right, I'll watch it late at night and I'll watch it bam all the way through. Or if I watch it in the day, it's like, right, I'll watch 2 or 3 matches because that's all I've got time to do. And then when you make this vid and you spend an hour making it and you spend a week doing research into it, because especially with the Raw reviews, the WWF reviews as part of the 1998 series, they take a lot of work because I watched the 4 episodes of Raw beforehand and I want all my notes to be right and all that. So you put a lot of work into the vid, and then there's very little views and there's even less comments. I've said so many times that the thing that bothers me about YouTube the most is the lack of comments. It's like, someone tell me what you think. Even if you think this vid was shit, tell me. If you think this vid was average, tell me. If you think this vid was good, tell me, because I can't go on. I don't know, comment isn't right. I can't grow or I can't make my videos better if I've got no feedback. It's that simple. It's really that simple. So jacking it in, I've always said, if I do nothing else, I will continue the 10 Years Ago series. But right at this moment, my planning for next year, I've told people this before, I'm going to redo my 1999 series, because when I did the 1999 Sucks series, I didn't do all the pay-per-views. And there's a couple of the quality of them is fucking awful, because they were filmed in 97 and 98. Sorry, 2007, 2008, you know, technology's advanced so much that we're sat watching me here in live and HD, yay. But yeah, the video quality is terrible. The problem is, of course, is that a lot of my vids that I did that are very, very funny. So, because I'm just ranting away, so it's a tricky one. So I'm going to keep doing the 10 Years Ago series, if nothing else, but it's one of those, look, it's like I say, I fear, basically, if you see a Raw, I'm going to be honest with you guys, right, if you see a Raw review from me anytime soon, it's me just going, oh, fuck it. I've got no choice. I've got to do, because my Raw reviews get 700 views. That is a consistent as gravity every single week. 700 views. So if you think about it, by taking the Raw reviews out, I'm down 2,800 views a month. Take out 1,000 views for a pay-per-view, so I'm 3,800 views. That's been a long time coming, hasn't it? Go on, have a guess what it is. Well, I'm sure you already know what it is, but Thambulance. Thambulance! Woohoo! So yeah, what I'll say is, I've said before about something like Sean's View, I'll see how many, right, let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. It's taken 4 months to get 100 subscribers. So I got 1,500 subscribers in May, and I got 1,600 subscribers in September. Think how long it's taken me that long to get 100 subscribers. So I see someone like Sean's View putting out shite videos with 17,000 subscribers, and just go, why bother? You know, you're never going to convince people that, you know, because the IWC or the YWC are happy to watch someone tell you what happened on a dirt sheet, but my brand of video is completely different to that, and no one's interested. So you just go, what's the point? So there are times it's like, right, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna make a vid, and you just go, no, I'm not, because I don't see the point. And that's me being honest, laying it on the line. That really is. Busby Babes for Life says, hi Mark, I asked you this before, but I think you were too swamped to mention it. I do apologise. When you were commentating, which kind of commentators did you prefer to be? Play-by-play or colour? Congrats on the 1,600 subscribers, bud. Keep up the good work. Now, I've got to say, I only ever did colour commentary for that one time, and I really didn't like it. I always saw myself as a colour guy. I always saw myself, because I love heels. Right, my favourite wrestlers are heels, that's just a fact. So I figured that putting over the heels would be dead easy. But it's just something that I just wasn't very good at. I didn't enjoy it very much. So I was very much a play-by-play guy. I like that. I was very lucky in my career that I had 2 great colour guys. Bobby Cash and David Muster were both great colour commentators. I was very, very, very lucky to be able to work with that. Another technical fault there. Seam Play says, hi Mark, I have been following your channels for a long time. I still remember that time you smoked weed in a bit. Actually, no, I didn't. I told you that I didn't. I did a roll up. Remember the dude with the cigar and the leather, and I just did a cigarette. No, I didn't smoke weed. Or did I? My question is, did you watch wrestling back in the day in the UK? Like, did you ever catch Raw shown live or edited later in the week? Never saw it live. Back in the day, I had a little ritual as soon as I turned 18. Used to go to the pub. The new pub would serve us, didn't matter what. I think we might have been 16 by that then. Nice and simple. Goes to the pub Friday night, home in time for Raw. Goes to the pub on Saturday, home in time for Match of the Day. That's how we were for fucking years. And then we started getting, you know, a bit more. When we got older, and when we could get into clubs, it was a different story. It was recorded. When Raw went, I don't remember when Raw went live. I can't remember when it was, but we started watching it live. Pay-per-views were always watched live. Always. I've said on reviews when I didn't watch it live, it was always go round to someone's house who had Sky, watch it live. Just always. Duke the Dumpster Drosy says in capitals, hi Mark. I want to know if you'll wrestle me in a garbage man match. The objective is to beat each other with trash cans till someone gives up. The psychology of this match will be beautiful. And if you lose, I have to cut your dreads. And if you win, I have to have a shower. Now this isn't fair, is it? Because I've had these for a long time. You could have had a shower yesterday. So I lose something that's really precious to me if I lose, but if you lose, you have to have a shower? Really? That's just not fair, is it? Azor Ahai says, want to avoid the cliche wrestling question, so I'll go for a different flavour. Quick thoughts on the current F1 season. I've loved it. I really have had a thoroughly good time watching this year's F1. I was worried at the first couple of races when Mercedes dominance was so much, like, this is going to be boring. But the fact that they allowed them to race to a point, the fact that there's people up there who have been capitalising, like Ricardo, and the fact that there's teams like Williams who just, resurgence, I think is absolutely great. I don't like the sound of the cars very much. I don't like. There's little niggly things I don't. The big niggly thing actually is that at the end of the year we're gonna have the double points. That's fucking stupid. It's so daft, and the only person who can't seem to see how fucking stupid it is Bernie fucking Eccleston. But yeah, this season I've really enjoyed. In original ECW TV says, should WWE do a 50-man battle royal for the world title at a pay-per-view? Absolutely not. WWE used to do World War III, didn't they? Which was what, a 3-ring, 60-man battle royal? Was it something like that? Not a good idea. So absolutely not. Also, a battle royal for any, or a rumble match for any title, as a rule, is not good. All right, 92 rumble was the exception, but I don't like titles being decided in battle royals because it's no. Prince of Cats 5 says, as a fan of British wrestling, do you have a particular favourite wrestler from the UK scene back in the World of Sport era? Hey, we talked about this earlier. Mine will be Marc Rollerball Rocco, a great one. Mick McManus made being a heel so fucking effortless. And he was brilliant. Honest to God, brilliant. I'm sorry if you're American and you start going, who the fuck is that? Go back and watch some Mick McManus. He was brilliant. Jimmy Saint. Is that his actual name? Jimmy Saint? Am I getting that wrong? Am I? It's not Jimmy Saint at all. No, fuck you, Google. I didn't say that, did I? Johnny Saint. One off. Johnny Saint. God damn it, I'm such an idiot. Johnny Saint was an inspiration, yeah, to me, because I'm a wrestler. Wasn't a really great wrestler. Like I say, someone like Catweasel, effortless heel. Fucking Adrian Street, amazing gimmick. Absolutely fucking awesome gimmick. Really good. So yeah, but yeah, Mick McManus, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I think we're going to leave it there. If I haven't answered your question, I'm sure I will in part 2. Thank you so much to everyone who has asked me a question. I hope you've enjoyed this Q&A as much as I have enjoyed filming it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the part 2 will be up in a couple of days' time. I've been Marc P. Thank you so much for watching so far. Join me in part 2 when it's online. Please leave a comment down below. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you all very soon. Take it easy, guys.